You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Well, sometimes the NFL is just one of the strangest entities on the planet, and things can come around very full circle. Now, back in the day, when I say back in the day, about, 8 years ago maybe, something like that, the LA Rams had a choice between Jared Goff and Carson Wentz. As we know, they moved off Jared Goff. I think one at this point might even argue, was that the right decision? Although the Matthew Stafford thing did get them a Super Bowl. But we know what has happened to their team ever since then. It's been diminished. They didn't have a lot of draft picks. All that fallout for getting that Super Bowl. And Matthew Stafford has since been hurt on multiple occasions. Well, there's been a guy floating around out there that I have just been absolutely baffled. Has not been on a roster. I thought he should have been on the New York Jets the very morning after Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles tendon. And I will still argue that in light of the fact that Zach Wilson has looked like dog shit most of the season. And last night, you could not have told me that Carson Wentz, that's right, Carson Wentz, would not have helped a team like the New York Jets or the Cleveland Browns. While Deshaun Watson's been hurt, somebody that could throw the football down the field and had an arm. And Carson Wentz has got an absolute cannon. Well, Carson Wentz, for all the injuries, I mean, the Giants need a quarterback. Somehow, some way, they have not signed Carson Wentz. They will not get a chance to. Nobody will, except the LA Rams. Carson Wentz, per Adam Schefter, is signing with the Los Angeles Rams per a source. This is weird. Schefter points out a full circle quarterback moment. Rams drafted Jared Goff number 1 overall in 2016, and Carson Wentz went number 2 to the Eagles. Goff went to the Lions to replace Matthew Stafford, who replaced Goff in L.A., and now Wentz will back up Stafford in L.A., and I think it's a very shrewd and smart move from Carson Wentz. I'm sure he was probably willing to go just about anywhere, but the fact is, he's going to Sean McVay, who notably, Baker Mayfield got with Carson Wentz, and there was a little rehabilitation there. I know the 49ers flirted with him very hard. I never understood him not having a home. Schefter also pointed out the Rams have had the number 1, number 2, number 5, and number 9 picks from the 2016 NFL Draft on their roster at one point or the other. It's baffling that some teams have just let him set out there. Sean McVay says he expects Matthew Stafford, thumb injury, to be ready. Thumb injuries can be a thorn in your side or in your thumb for the rest of the season or for all season, or nag you to death. You can't throw the ball. You got to have somebody come in. After this week's bye, meaning Carson Wentz will be the backup and the insurance policy. And I feel like this is malpractice by a hell of a lot of NFL teams out there right now that are in horrible quarterback situations. I just don't understand. The Browns could have used a real, true quarterback. I mean, the Giants certainly could have used one. The Jets could have used one. I mean, there's multiple teams around the league that probably should have long since, like I said, he should have been on the Jets roster morning after Aaron Rodgers got hurt. Just take a little trip here. 151 touchdowns, 66 picks, so he's over 2 to 1. Touchdown to interception ratio, over 62% completion percentage, has a winning record, and is 30 years old in the NFL. And look, I don't give a rip about these supposed attitude issues. All I know is with the Colts, he went 9-8, 62.4, 3,563 yards. He threw 27 touchdowns to only 7 interceptions. Had a 94.6 QB rating. Out of all the seasons he's played, he's had a 1, 2, 3, 4 90-plus QB rating on the entire season that he's played. And I really don't care about what happened in Washington last year. He went 2-5, 62.3, 11 TDs, 9 picks on what, at the time, look, he didn't get a chance to play for Eric Bieniemy. He didn't. He got a chance to play for a dysfunctional franchise under Dan Snyder. And one could argue Jim Irsay is kind of dysfunctional himself, because I'm going to tell you how this thing worked out, and I don't know if a lot of people understand this in Indianapolis. Frank Reich never wanted to get rid of Carson Wentz after that 9-8 season. He wanted to bring him back as the starting quarterback. Okay? Now, the Indianapolis Colts lost the last game of the year to the Jaguars, and it knocked the Colts out of the playoffs. All right? It was the last game of the season. Carson Wentz, it was his worst game he played all year long. Jim Irsay got angry, threw a fit. Now, this is all that's come out of that. Over time, over digesting several different stories, but all aligning to the fact that Jim Irsay lost his shit, got mad, and demanded that Carson Wentz be let go off the Colts. Chris Ballard did not want to get rid of him, the general manager. They thought in Indianapolis they still had and would have had a playoff team last year in a weak AFC South. But Jim Irsay lost his temper, got mad, and told Frank Reich to run a quarterback out of town that threw 27 touchdowns and only had 7 interceptions, and told that quarterback to get out of town at 28 years old. It was one of the more strange, baffling situations I can think of. I think Carson Wentz, in theory, could have played 6, 8, 10 years in Indianapolis and completely restarted his career. I'm not gonna hold Washington against anybody, because it's where careers can go to die, and it's amazing what Sam Howell's done there so far. And frankly, they've got a better offensive side of the ball, and a guy that's better at scheming offensive plays now. Offensive coordinator is a very big deal. But nonetheless, Carson Wentz finally has a home back in the NFL, and we will see what this leads to. I still cannot believe he was not a New York Jet nearly immediately. Like as soon as you realize the night of the injury to Aaron Rodgers, how the hell they didn't have Carson Wentz on the phone and en route on a plane that night to New York is beyond me. You can't tell me they couldn't have potentially won a game like last night. I mean, Zach Wilson can't throw the ball down the field. He's scared to throw the ball down the field. I mean, my God, it's baffling to me, truly. But Carson Wentz is back. I think there was a little bit of blackballing that happened in the NFL. I mean, to a certain extent, not with collusion, but just, I think some attitude things that may or may not actually have been true went down involving Carson Wentz. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.